Cholera was first identified in 1817 in India. 63 years later, typhoid was originally identified in 1880 in South Asia. Fast forward to 2019, COVID-19 was first identified in Wuhan, China. Cholera spread quickly throughout India. Cholera had spread to Thailand, Indonesia, and the Philippines by 1820, and then made its way to China and Japan by 1822. 6 years after the first cholera pandemic began, it started to die down due to severe winters in 1823 to 1824, killing the bacteria living in the water supplies.
In the case of typhoid, the first effective vaccination was discovered in 1881. The vaccine has been more developed since then. Many believe that typhoid was present long before the 1800s. COVID-19 was first identified by the Chinese authorities on January 7, 2020. On January 30th, 2020, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 as a public health emergency of international concern. Then, in March 2020, 100,000 cases of COVID-19 were recorded, and the World Health Organization characterized COVID-19 as a pandemic.
Typhoid has infected 11 to 20 million people each year and has caused around 128 to 161,000 deaths per year. In terms of cholera, researchers have estimated that there are 1.3 to 4 million cases of cholera each year and 21,000 to 143,000 deaths worldwide. For COVID-19, there have been 252 million cases since the beginning of the pandemic, and there have been 5 million recorded deaths.
Cholera is a bacterial disease that is spread through contaminated water. This bacteria can be found in surface or well water, seafood, raw fruits and vegetables, and grains. This makes it very easy to spread.
Typhoid also spreads in contaminated water, food, and milk. This occurs due to poor sanitation, which then contaminates water, which then infects food like seafood, raw vegetables, and milk products, which rely on water or fertilization that may have been contaminated.
COVID-19 is transmitted between people through respiratory particles or direct contact, as well as indirect contact or contact with contaminated surfaces. When a person with COVID-19 breathes, speaks, coughs, or sneezes, they release aerosol particles.
Cholera is tested by analyzing a stool sample for the bacteria Vibrio cholerae serogroup O1 or O139. Typhoid fever can be diagnosed by analyzing samples of blood, stool, or urine. These samples are tested for traces of Salmonella typhi bacteria. COVID-19 is tested by taking a sample from the nose or throat. Either an antibody test or viral test is conducted to either diagnose current or past infection.
Severe cases of cholera require rapid treatment with intravenous fluids and antibiotics. For typhoid, in the early stages, typhoid fever diagnosis can be treated with antibiotic medications. However, some strains of Salmonella typhi have now developed a resistance to many of the antibiotics used. The use of azithromycin in the treatment of COVID can seriously impact the effectiveness of one of the very few treatments for drug-resistant typhoid. This has become a growing issue in Pakistan. At this time, we don't have any strong treatment for COVID. The main suggestion is to rest, drink plenty of fluids, and take painkillers. For those with severe cases, they may be put on ventilators to try and protect their lungs.
All three diseases have a significant impact on health. There are both short-term and long-term health effects. For cholera, some long-term effects include low blood sugar, low potassium levels, and kidney failure. Short-term effects include diarrhea, nausea and vomiting, and dehydration. For typhoid, some long-term effects include internal bleeding in the digestive system. Short-term effects include stomach pain, constipation, diarrhea, and coughs. For COVID, some long-term effects include fatigue, difficulty thinking, and joint pain. Some short-term effects include a high temperature, continuous cough, and a loss or change of smell or taste.
The social determinants of health play a critical role in your ability to properly recover if you catch one of these diseases. The effects of them can depend on your living conditions, which may be your ability or lack thereof to rest in quarantine. In terms of access to proper healthcare services, you need to be able to reach a local center to be able to get the proper medication and treatment. For your income level, your ability to take time off work and not have it severely impact you financially can be a serious issue. Being able to afford treatment and medication is also an issue that is even prevalent in some developed countries, such as the United States.